Hello, my name is Elena Volkova, and I will show you the new feature that we have introduced. It's the possibility to generate code preview for individual model elements and for transformation configurations. Now you can notice that if you right click on some model element, then we have this new menu option called generate code preview, and there is also a keyboard shortcut to invoke this new functionality. So it works on the selection in Project Explorer, and you can select individual model elements as well as transformation configurations. But let's start with the scenario when you want to preview code for individual elements. So this is useful even because you can use this before you create any transformation configurations. So, for example, I'm developing my model and I create a new enumeration, and I want to check what is this scoped value. So for example, when I have just created an enumeration, it looks like this, and I press Alt-Shift-E. And what happens now is that code generation is invoked. It works quite fast. Also, you see here, sorry, this Moscow is a subfolder that that I specified before, so we can do it like this. I don't want this, so I want just a normal folder. Yes, the generated files for the code preview are put in under the same project, and there is a default folder called code preview that will hold these files. So now I'm changing some of the settings and I want to generate again. So if I do it again, the same location will be used, and the files that changed, they will be kept under that folder, but there will be a special sign at the end. So it is possible to call compare with each other. And see what is the difference between previous code generation and current code generation. So as soon as the contents of the files changes, then these special files with this tilde at the end, they will be maintained. But when there is no difference, then this file will disappear. So now we can continue experimenting with it, and I can specify the type for the scope and see. Again, I press Alt-Shift-E, and here immediately I see the difference, how it was before and what I get now. So now I want to remove everything, and I generate again. And again, I see, so this is the previous version of the file, this is the new version of the file. It is possible also to call this through context menu, and it is also possible to select several elements, not only one. Then I can use this dialog, and here you can select what exactly do you want to generate, or you can keep everything, and you also can specify a subfolder where you want the generated code to be put. So after the code is generated, this generated code will be revealed in Project Explorer. So you immediately notice that there are new files that are generated, and they are revealed here in Project Explorer. So If you don't like this location, it is possible to control the preferences, and now it is easy to access preferences directly from this dialog. So here, under preferences, we have a new page called Code Preview, and currently there is only one preference, that is the location of the code preview, and you can use this special Eclipse variable, project_path, and it will point to the current project where you have your model elements for code preview. So you can, if you don't want to use the project, you want a special project, then I can do like this, my code preview. And apply and close, and okay, I don't want a subfolder. I press OK, and now there will be a new project created in my workspace. Here it is, but now it's a bit away from the original element, so maybe it's not so easy to notice. But as soon as you know that you expect the code here, then you will scroll and notice that here is the code preview. The same code preview folder is used, but this also can be fixed in preferences. So I will do like this. Here you can also fix the name my B1, the name of the folder where the code preview will be generated. So now we scroll down and we see that now we are using a different folder for code preview. So a couple of words about the contents of what we get in the preview for individual model elements. This code generation is done without any transformation configurations. And of course, there are some consequences. First of all, one of the most that you will notice is this include. The name of the header file will be like this, because this is a general include, and this unit name file, it is generated based on the settings in TCJS, but as soon as now we don't have any transformation configuration, then we are generating this special file with this special name, and this include will be generated into headers, into all header files. And if there are some special settings that you used to have in TCJS, then when generating code preview on a single model element, then default settings will be taken. Also, if you generate a code preview for some model element, like for example, for class 2, I select a single element, I generate code preview, then the header file for the element that was just generated, it will be opened here in the editor. So you will immediately see the header file that has just been generated. But this is happening only if a single element is selected. So if several elements are selected, then the files will not be opened in the editors. Also, it is possible to generate code preview for TCJS. In this case, full code generation will be performed, but it will be put under this code preview location. And also the projects, they will not be marked as CDT projects, but they will just be generated into a separate location that will be easy to clean afterwards. So for TCJS, dialog looks a bit different. Now it's possible to select the scope, what you want to generate, source files, make files. By default, it will generate everything. And also now I will go to preferences and restore defaults. So I want now to generate here very close into the same project. So I click generate, and now we get a target folder with the all target code for this TCGS, and if you have prerequisites, then the target folders for prerequisites will also be generated. If you are using the same location for code generation, then these files with the tilde will be maintained. And for example, this might be useful when you want to compare how, for example, the make files will look like. So, for example, this common preface, if I want to see what will happen, if I type something here, in code preface, then I click here and generate code preview, and I will use the same location. And now I see that make files didn't change because we don't see any new files with tilde with this sign, but we see that only one file that actually changed, and we can check, compare with each other. We can see what is the difference, and we see that really on the right we include this common preface, and it is included into the unit name.h generated for transformation configuration. Another very useful scenario when this feature can be very helpful is when you want to compare different commits in Git repo. And now here in the workspace, I have two projects which actually are in Git, and here. So this is my Git repos, and I have two branches, master branch and another branch called Moscow. And now what I want to do is to compare generated code for my projects between these two branches. So now I'm on the master branch, and I will generate code based on master branch. So this is what I'm going to do. Generate code preview. I want to see everything, and here I will use the subfolder name as master, and I will generate code. So these warnings, you shouldn't pay attention on this because this is intended for Raspberry. Compilation for Raspberry Pi, but I don't have that version of Target RTist. But for code generation, it doesn't matter. This will influence only on the build process, but for code preview, I'm absolutely fine without this Target RTist configurations. And now I see that lots of code was generated. So I can see that for the top TCGS, I have a folder, and also for the prerequisite, I have another folder. And now I will go to Git, and I will switch to Moscow branch. So I want to check out another branch. Yes, so now it's quite easy to do, and but the code generated for previous branch, it's here in the code preview. So now I go here and generate again, but now I want to give a different name. and the code is generated. So you may notice that since this generated code, it is not maintained as a CDT project in the workspace, you don't get any C++ indexing starting. And in general, this code preview, it works quite fast. One of the drawbacks that I can mention here is that if you open any of the files from your code preview, it is not possible to navigate to source model element. So you will get this error message, and this is expected because you can have many different versions of code preview, and this link to the original element, it is not maintained in this case. So this is expected, and vice versa from the model element. When you want to navigate to the generated files, a code preview will not be considered. But my goal was to compare the two branches, the generated code between the two branches. And now I have everything here. So I just select these two branches in my code preview. And I use the same built-in command, compare with each other. And here is the result. So in comparison here, in this list, structure compare, I see the files that were changed. So if we remember that in the Project Explorer there were much more files, but these are the files that changed, and we see that there were 2 new files added. And if you click, you will see the difference in the generated code. So here we can see that on the left we have Moscow branch, on the right we have master, so maybe we want to switch them. And we will see that on master branch we have more functions. So what else? We can, in the header, in the CPP file, we also see the same implementation for these functions. For push button, we can check. It was only CPP file that were changed, and we see that on the master we have additional include and some additional functionality, some additional handling here for some special cases. So it's very easy now to compare the code between the two branches or the two Git commits, and you can. It's not limited to Git, so you can use any version control system because this step for switching between different versions. This is a manual step. So now I did lots of code preview in my workspace, and we also have introduced a useful command here that will remove all your code preview. And if you click on this command, then all the folders with the code preview that were generated during your troubleshooting or during your investigations will be deleted, and all the editors that contain code preview files will be closed. So now I click on this, remove all code preview, and you see that now I have a clean workspace without any folders, without any code preview. The only thing that we can notice is that Git project still contains some changes, and this happens because when you have a Git project and you generate a code preview folder into this project, then this folder will be automatically added into Git ignore. So here in the working tree, we see that we get this Git ignore. This is a new file that was created by Eclipse, and this happens because the folders with the generated code, they are marked as derived folders, and you will automatically get them into Git ignore. Since now we have removed all code preview, we can now just clean this out using clean, and we want to clean this git ignore, and now I'm back to the original status of my workspace.